Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your patience. I would like to officially call the October 1st, 2019 Board of Education meeting to order. And we will begin with the invocation from Reverend Vic Weaver.
Father God, we thank you, and we come to you in the name that is above every name, the name of Jesus. And Father, we want to thank you tonight for the many blessings that you have bestowed upon us and the many things that you have worked out in our lives. And Father, tonight we pray for added wisdom for this board so that they can look at, talk about, and vote on the strategic plans that will enhance our schools, our students, our faculty, and all the staff that are helping our children to become tomorrow's leaders. And Father, we thank you for this and ask all this now in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you very much. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, now we have approval of the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, I do need to remove number 5, the John H. Crowder Service Award. Our recipient is unable to be here tonight, so we will remove that from the agenda.
So I move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Board members, if you would please come around, we will have the Employee of the Month recognition.
Good evening, Board. The Union County Public Schools Employee of the Month Award recognizes employees in non-teacher, non-certified positions. It was created to honor those who have exemplary work and performance, those who promote positive morale, or possibly those who demonstrate initiatives and creativity that improve the operating efficiency of their department or district. Individuals can be nominated based on their performance, their customer service, or an individual incident that merits commendation. Our October recipient is DeEtte Maxwell, who is part of our transportation team. Director of Transportation Marlon Watson will now come forward to recognize DeEtte for her accomplishments. As he makes his way to the podium, I'd also like to note that this month will mark the last Employee of the Month recognition under this model. Over the last several months, we've developed a new employee recognition program, and I'll provide additional information to you folks about that at the next board meeting.
Good evening, Dr. Houlihan. Good evening, board members. This summer, a community member lost her purse, which contained a large sum of money. Upon finding the purse, Ms. Maxwell immediately turned it into the local bank and worked closely with the bank to ensure that all of the contents were returned to the community members as soon as possible. This is commendable for many reasons, but it also speaks to Ms. Maxwell's outstanding customer service, initiative, leadership, integrity. In fact, the community member went out of her way to contact our district to let us know about this story because she wanted to ensure Ms. Maxwell would be recognized for going above and beyond to ensure the purse was returned to the rightful owner. Integrity in employees is a fundamental value that every employee seeks for their team. This is only one example of how Ms. Maxwell has demonstrated her commitment and dedication to serving not only our students, but our community as well. We are proud We are proud to have Ms. Maxwell on the transportation team and as part of the team UCPS. I will now read the Employee of the Month proclamation from the Board of Education and Dr. Houlihan. Whereas the Board of Education values the hard work of each employee within the district, whereas performance is a central part of the district operation, whereas DeEtte Maxwell exemplifies the performance, dedication, and teamwork essential to the success of the district and its students. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Education for Union County Public Schools, and Dr. Andrew G. Houlihan, Superintendent, hereby proclaim DeEtte Maxwell as Employee of the Month for the month of October 2019. Congratulations. So, Dr. Houlihan and members of the board, I'm not finished yet. I have two other employees that I would like to recognize. So it gives me great honor and pleasure to recognize two outstanding employees. They exemplify excellence. They are a master of their craft. There's no vehicle or bus that they cannot fix or repair. These gentlemen placed in the top 10 for the best of the best in bus inspection for the state of North Carolina. I would like to present to you Mr. Randy Carter, 24 years of UCPS service, as well as Mr. Christopher Davis, 3 years of UCPS service. Thank you.
You can stand here or there, it doesn't matter. Good evening. Tonight, I'd like to recognize Weddington Middle School's exceptional children's teacher, Heather Pallarino, who was named the UCPS EC Educator of Excellence. Ms. Pallarino is known as a teacher leader both in her school and in the district. She not only serves as the EC department chairperson at her school, but she also began the Peer Pals program, which has served as a model for schools who are setting up similar programs. In her classroom, Ms. Pallarino nurtures students to reach their highest potential and meet high expectations. In fact, she has also seen some of her students move back to the diploma pathway through the occupational course of study when they enter high school. Ms. Pallarino is very well respected among her peers, administration, parents, and students. She will now go on to represent Union County Public Schools at the state's Exceptional Children's Conference this fall. Congratulations, Ms. Pallarino. Dr. Houlihan, Board of Education, this concludes our recognitions tonight.
Board, that brings us to public comments. 30 minutes has been allotted for public comments. Community members wishing to speak during public comments should state their name, address, and phone number prior to making any other comments. The board will not hear in open session complaints about the performance of school personnel, personnel issues, or confidential student issues. Individuals may address the board for a maximum of 3 minutes. Any person who is an appointed representative for a group may address the board for 5 minutes. Should a community member wish to seek information or share items that may not be shared during public comments, Our staff are available to address your concerns or provide information. Dr. Chris Barnes, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Dr. Brad Breedlove, Chief Academic Officer, and Jared McCraw, Assistant Superintendent of Student Services, are here to assist. Our first speaker will be Kimberly Carlin. Oh, thank you. Got you. Kim Carlin. My address is 422 Maple Hill Road, phone number 704-254-4405. I'm here tonight on behalf of, I'm a bus driver for UCPS for the Piedmont cluster, and I'm here as a representative of our cluster. Several bus drivers are here tonight in light of recent events to voice some concerns directly to the board, as they should have been addressed. We wanted to discuss the current rate of pay, and I don't know if it's okay, but I've got some information, but I don't know if it's okay to give this out at this time, or if that's something you want me to give out later. Yes, ma'am. We'll get a copy. And I'll explain to you once you receive that, what's in there for you. And I'll go over it with you if that's okay. The current rate of pay for new drivers is $13.87, which I think personally is great. We need to up the pay because we need to be more competitive with our surrounding counties. We have to attract and we also have to maintain that. And we keep losing drivers to the surrounding counties for that reason because of starting pay and pay increases and such. One problem, if you would look at your second sheet once you get your folder, if you look at your second sheet in there, I'll explain to you so that you can understand it. Here you have examples. You've got an employee coming in, line 1, with the prior CDL experience of 10 years. And then the date that they were hired was 2017, and the starting rate of pay was $13.87. That person currently makes $14.52, and their total years of experience is 12. Then if you look at the starting rate of pay for new drivers now, it being $13.87, that $14.52 for a 12-year veteran, it's way off. It's way off. And each one, as you go down, you can see number 2, it's prior CDL, 10 years experience. The date they were hired was 2008. The rate of pay at that time was $11.27. That driver is currently making $15.49 an hour with 21 years experience. There again, $13.87 is starting pay. I'm going to skip down because you can read that for yourself. But if you skip down, something that interested me when I was getting these numbers, line 8, this person came in with 0 experience, was hired in 2017 at a rate of pay of $12.37. And this is just 2019, is already making $14.15 an hour. Go back up to line 2 at the driver who has 21 years experience and is only making $15.49 an hour. The difference needs to be greater, in my opinion, for the experience that this driver has versus a 2-year driver. And you could look at that. And the first sheet is just a, I keep wanting to call it a scale, but it's not a scale sheet, but the numbers are way off, so don't go by this. But this just kind of gives you something that I think the Board of Education had done in 2015, 2016, that the drivers would like to try to get back to, so that we could have like a sliding scale so that that variance is made more obvious and it's, implemented more in something that they can see. The drivers, like I said, would like to see a greater division of the new drivers coming in versus someone who's been here 30 years. There was a driver, the last one has been here 30 years, and she's currently making $20.17 an hour for a 30-year driver. And there again, that's not that much difference of a 2-year driver at $14. We understand that there was a problem with some teachers' assistants coming in making starting out pay of $20 an hour. That was explained to us as it being overtime pay. However, bus drivers are not allowed to work a second job as a cafeteria worker or a custodian. We're not allowed to do that. And I'm representing them, the drivers, was wondering why that's a double standard, why that a teacher assistant can come in as a bus driver, but a bus driver can't go in as a custodian, to make up extra money, because a lot of these are single parents and need the extra income and have to work 2 jobs, but they're not allowed to do that. So that's just a question they wanted me to pose to you guys. Also, the field trips are not considered overtime. They're considered to come out of a different budget. Time's up. Is that my time up? Okay, thank you. Our next speaker is David Hollis.
Hicks.
Hicks.
H-I-C-K-S.
Okay, I'll fix that.
My name's David Hicks. I live at 4116 Compostela Court, Monroe. Phone number 704-305-0806. I'm not going to reference any names or anything, and I just want to speak about something that happened during graduation at Piedmont High School. And I addressed the board and the superintendent about this. I attended my grandson's graduation at Porter Ridge High School at Cabarrus Arena on June the 8th, 2018. Am I wrong?
You said Piedmont, and then you said
Oh.
Porter Ridge.
No, Porter Ridge, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
All right. June the 8th, 2019. I was appalled at the school letting a student get up and talk about LGBTQ in front of grandparents, parents, small children. That's not right. You can't do that. We don't have the opportunity. Let's say one of the students come up and said, I would like to talk about my faith. Okay? What would you guys say? More than likely, it would have been stopped. Someone had to approve this speech. Someone in that school approved this speech. I have no idea how or why. But this student got up there and talked. She was probably one of the 3rd or 4th people to talk. If I had a young child sitting in that audience, I would have went ballistic, because that is not the place or the venue to talk about that. This young lady even went as far as to saying that she promoted LGBTQ in Piedmont. I'm sorry, Porter Ridge. Sorry. I got Piedmont on my mind because they've been talking about Piedmont. But Porter Ridge. So you tell me how that can happen. And I guarantee you, if a student of faith got up there and started that, they'd have probably been jerked off of the stage. So I'm just appalled. There was probably roughly, I'm going to say 500 students. These numbers are estimates. I didn't count the people. Students, 800 parents, probably, I'm going to say roughly 100, 150, 200 small children. So what are we doing? Are we forcing this LGBTQ issue on these children? That's what I think. And that's what I believe, because no one stopped it. And I don't know nothing about any of you guys. I don't know nothing about the principal. I don't know nothing about any of you. But somebody somewhere approved that speech. I can't imagine you letting a student get up there and let them speak like that without someone approving that speech. So my next thing is, I'm going to give you some statistics if I got time. I'll hear your little buzzer if I don't. These stats come from the CDC. Is that my thing?
That's your timer.
I'm going to give you all a copy of this. I want you to see it.
Okay, that concludes our public comments tonight and brings us to open session meeting minutes for September 5th.
I move that we approve the open session meeting minutes for September 5th.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, now we have the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
All those in favor say aye. Okay. We will turn it over to Dr. Houlihan for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, everyone, and thank you all for being here. Last week, UCPS joined Sandy Hook Promise and thousands of school districts across the nation for Start With Hello Week. I want to say a big thank you to our schools, our principals, our teachers, our counselors. They did a phenomenal job developing activities for our students and staff. We received a lot of really positive feedback, and we'll be talking with our principals this Thursday about sustaining that effort. October is a really busy month for us around the school system. It is Bullying Prevention Month across the nation. It is also National Principals Month. Last week, we named our 10 finalists for Principal of the Year, and we'll name our winner this Thursday at our annual luncheon. And as you'll see, we are going to be spending a lot of time this month talking about bullying prevention. We have another campaign moving forward that's called You Have a Voice campaign that looks at student-created videos that can be submitted as kind of a fun challenge. So a lot going on in October, and we look forward to celebrating with our principals and our teams this month. Today is October the 1st, and that means that Read With You is back. Today was our official kickoff of our Reading Buddy program. If you wish to sign up, it's pretty simple. You can visit our UCPS main website, click on Read With You Volunteer Sign Up, and the ask is that you identify a school that you'd like to spend at least 30 minutes a week reading to a young first or second grader. That really becomes a mentor-mentee opportunity. This is our third year of Read With You. I'll begin at Benton Heights on Monday and can't wait to meet my new reading buddy. I want to give a big shout out tonight to Pat Kale and the Union County Chamber of Commerce, as well as our Career Readiness Department. This week is called Make It in Union Week. It is all about school-to-business connections and exposing our students to companies and careers right here in Union County. And look forward again this week to seeing a lot of different ideas and student involvement initiatives that are happening in connection with the Chamber. And finally, I want to say congratulations to the Board of Education and to our finance team for earning a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence from the Government Finance Officers Association for the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. This certificate is the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting. And so to our CFO, Shauna McLam, thank you to you and your team as well for your hard work. And board members, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now have the strategic plan update for Theme B, Initiative 1B. I will turn it over to Dr. Breedlove and Dr. Bowers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the board, Dr. Houlihan, guests in attendance, it's my pleasure to be able to provide you with an update on strategic theme 1 that is part of our strategic plan. This particular theme addresses those academic programs that have been designed to be able to meet the needs of all academic learners. This particular initiative that is associated with this particular theme deals with assisting schools in providing equitable access and consistent access to a variety of educational opportunities across all levels. We kind of think of this from a framework standpoint, and I believe each of you has been given or provided an actual handout that coincides with the presentation tonight. The hierarchy, if you will, of this particular strategic theme begins with the, again, theme at the top where we're looking to enhance our academic programming. And then it stems down to what you see are the foundational pillars that are at the base of this particular graphic here. If we look at those reading from left to right, we're looking at career and college readiness is one of the supporting tenets of this particular thing. We're looking at representing underrepresented students or supporting underrepresented students. We also see that dual language programming is a key component of this particular of our efforts from a district-wide standpoint. We're also looking to expand our academic programming across all schools, as mentioned earlier. And then finally, we want to be able to use data to be able to drive the decision-making process. So as we look to be able to introduce these efforts, these programs, what data are we collecting to say this is moving in the direction that we hope that we will achieve the stated outcomes? The last 3 years, this first year of this was 2017 and 2018. And we began with just some baseline introductory efforts, first of which was really to provide training for all of our staff on career and college readiness measures. And then we went from that to be able to increase our enrollment, again, for underrepresented students in a lot of our rigorous courses and a lot of our advanced courses. That would be AIG programming, our AP courses, and then obviously our dual language program. And then you see kind of that last effort there was to create a K-12 dual language immersion program, in which we have done, and now we have 17 dual language programs across the system, 14 in our elementary schools, and then what would be 3 at our middle schools. You kind of go to the next column, and that would be the academic year that has just ended. And within that academic year, we're able to enhance our efforts to gather more data. We did this through a senior survey that was administered to current students to be able to kind of get some feedback on academic program, post-secondary preparation. We're also able to connect with National Clearinghouse to kind of get better information on where our students were going to college and validate enrollment once they were able to leave or actually left Union County Public Schools. You look at the box below that, we were able to launch a College and Career Readiness Center, and it is operating 3 days a week at the Monroe Public Library. We also wanted to begin talking about ways in which we could expand our pre-K programming. And then lastly, creating an interactive program of studies. We were able to successfully launch a career technical education interactive program of studies that is housed on the career technical education website through UCPS. And then we kind of fast forward again to this year. So what are we looking to do to continue these efforts and to be able to kind of build upon the indicators that we've put in place? You see, the first one, we're looking to deploy a postgraduate survey for the first time to be able to kind of get feedback from students that have left Union County schools to kind of help us better understand some of the academic programming and some of the post-secondary preparation in place. We're also looking to build and develop a graduate profile. What does it mean to be a UCPS graduate? And being able to share that with feedback from our various stakeholder groups across the county. We also want to expand our college and career readiness efforts to move beyond what hopefully will be a single site across the county to now hopefully giving those opportunities to be able to exist in all of our high schools so that students would then have at their disposal these resources, this information each and every day. We also want to then move to those pre-K offerings and look to say what can we now do after that investigation to expand pre-K within our existing sites and seek to have more sites, licensed. All right. And lastly, transition from just the CTE-based program of studies into more of a comprehensive program of studies for all of our coursework. So that, I think, kind of gives you those transitions. And then you have, I think, a handout in there that kind of gives you the progress updates on each of those and where we are.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So you talked about a postgraduate survey. Do we use our student and parent surveys to help in this area as well? Are there questions relating to this that?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And we kind of had that kind of helped set the framework for this because much of the information we do glean from those surveys gave us some indications that maybe we needed to enhance some of our efforts to be able to provide more service to our students. So that really became that baseline data. And to your point, one of the things we hope will continue as we monitor that and keep reviewing those annually, that will let us know whether we're moving in the right direction.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Got a quick question. The postgraduate survey, when will that get deployed after graduation?
So we're looking to hopefully launch that. It would be July once we actually end what would be the fiscal year. That is our goal. So right now, we're still in the midst of what is going to be the platform by which that will be deployed to students. But we're kind of thinking that July timeframe because we want to make sure too that we're able to track what would be good data for where students actually landed after graduation.
Right. And the other question kind of regarding that, have you ever thought about identifying a group of students to kind of follow through maybe 4 to 5 years after college and see how well we did?
That's a great idea. That is certainly something we could actually take back to this committee and say, this may be a cohort, perhaps, if you will,
Yeah.
that we want to get feedback from on a more of a expansive basis.
Thank you.
Dr. Bowers,
Sir.
there had been, I'm sure there's been a lot of work on developing for the pre-K various programs, a single portal of entry, if you will, in collaboration with other early childhood groups, well, they don't go by Smart Start anymore, but can you update on the progress on that effort?
Absolutely. That's a great question, sir. What we've been able to actually move towards, we're actually in the midst of this pre-planning process with the Alliance for Children. And now it's become, I think it's Head Start also as well. And within that, a universal application such that a individual who is interested in participating in some of the pre-K offerings that are available based on their eligibility and based on whether or not they qualify, they would just fill out or complete one application that would be transferable across all three entities. Our federal programs team is really taking the lead on that, and they're working with a group of stakeholders to work through what are some of the ebb and flows. We actually received a grant that is going to help us in those efforts. And we're going to partner with a district that has been doing this for quite some time to learn a little bit more about that.
And so do you have an estimated time of implementation?
Ideally, we would love to see that in the 2020-2021 year, but we don't know that that's going to be feasible. This is kind of one of those things to which we're waiting for feedback from the state on as well. So we have to work in conjunction with various entities. So that would be ideal, but we can certainly provide updates as we move through the process.
When you say 2021, are you talking about the beginning of the fiscal year? In other words, July 1st, 2020?
I'm sorry, 2020-2021 school year would be the ideal.
Next fall?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Next August?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if I hold you to that?
That's the goal. Keyword is
That would be the goal.
Okay, all right, let me ask you a different way. I don't want to put you on the spot, but who should I put on the spot? Who on UCPS is heading that effort?
So it's a collaborative effort, because one of the aspects of it, as I understand it, is to work also with our community partners as well. So while we would love to be in a position to be able to say with greater certainty that would be our launch date, we also have to have the approval from the state, as I understand it as well.
Our point person is Dr. Cynthia Hoxton.
Okay.
She has done this pre-K expansion in her other prior school systems, and so she's got a lot of experience with that. But obviously, this includes a lot of moving parts, not just academic, but community, facilities, state approval, licensure. So it's going to be a year's worth, if not more, of effort to prepare. That would involve multiple layers of the board as we move forward.
So I'm assuming you have not chosen the high schools. I guess I'm referring to the 2019-2020 expand college career readiness centers in our high schools. So will this be in all the high schools, or?
Ultimately, once the goal has been completed, that would be the ideal state. As far as specific locations, no, ma'am, those have not been identified.
So a few things. Number one, want to thank the board very publicly for your support. This initiative, to me, has been kind of 3 years in the running with our strategic plan. And if there's two words that come to my mind about the importance of this, it's equity and access. You can see a lot of outcomes if you think back to a month ago with our accountability report and our advancements in academic achievement, particularly with aspects like advanced placement and SAT and PSAT and a lot of the work that this board has been committed to. So I want to say very publicly thank you for your support. And second, this is an initiative that probably will never end. It's always going to be a series of strategies that I think as an organization we can always improve upon. And again, it's really looking at how do you provide greater academic access to all of our students, no matter your zip code. So I want to thank our team as well for your leadership in this, and it will be an ongoing effort.
Yes, sir.
So I appreciate the update on the pillar that was just presented. So I am a member of the Strategic Plan Transportation and Technology Committee, right? So we kind of spearheaded this whole effort. What I have not seen yet is like an overall strategic plan update. We've been getting periodic updates on here's where we are with each one of our pillars. Do you think maybe you could come back to the board next month or the following maybe with an overall update on where we are holistically with the strategic plan? Maybe red, yellow, green as far as in process, completed in process, not yet started, but maybe like how are we tracking towards what our goal was, right? Like, are we behind schedule, ahead of schedule, on schedule? So if we could just get some kind of holistic update, that would be great.
Yeah, that would fall under me, and I'll be glad to make sure that happens for y'all next month. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Okay, we now have policies for review.
Yes, good evening, members of the board. You currently have 6 policies and 3 administrative guidelines before you for review. And I'm available to answer any questions you have on those. They went to the policy committee last month. Thank you.
Okay. And board members, we have the North Carolina School Board Association Delegate Assembly November 18th in Greensboro. And Donna, could you remind me, do we need 3 or?
You can have up to 4.
Up to 4.
You can have up to 4, and then we can even select an alternate if you don't have to.
Okay. November 18th. So, any board members going once, going twice? And since we're on that, on this topic for the school board, I think I would like to encourage all board members to take a look at your credit hours and touch base with Donna and Michelle, because Kathy and I recently attended the District 6 meeting, and it would appear that we are deficient in our credit hours and did not receive a gold or silver certificate for the number of hours we're supposed to have. So with that being said, it would appear that we need to earn some credit hours, and Greensboro at the state convention would be a perfect place for you to go get the hours you need around November 18th. So I encourage you to be there, get your credit hours to maintain your seat, and touch base again with Donna and Michelle to see how many you need. And if you are going to be there, please let me know, because you could be a delegate and have voting privileges at the state level if you choose to attend the state convention. Okay, that would be great. That would be great. With that being said, it would appear that we will move on from this, but I need everyone to touch base with Donna and Michelle in the next couple of days and see where you stand. And if you need to be there to earn your credit hours, I would like for you to let me know if you would consider being a voting delegate for Union County Public Schools at the state convention.
So can this wait for the November meeting for us to pick the delegates, or do we have to have delegates today?
We don't have to have it today.
Because it's an action item. I just
I
want to,
think it would be, you haven't always voted on it.
okay. Oh, good.
I
Okay.
think it can be added,
Okay, good.
but
Sorry.
I don't think it can wait till November 2nd.
And Donna is happy to help anyone if you need a 1 or 2 night stay to get your credit hours in. Donna will work with the board members on your travel and your room stays if you need one.
So all of that's for you. You just tell me when you want to check in and how many days you want to stay. You can take 1 day or you can take 3 days. And they also have ethics on Sunday for the voting. And the delegates have to be submitted by October 15th.
October 15th.
I can let you know tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, Candace. And I'm pretty sure you're caught up on all of your hours, Ms. Sturdivant. I think you definitely have all yours.
So, Ms. Merrill, if I
thank
heard
you.
that correctly, though, Donna will be reaching out to us to provide us a current status? So we don't
I'm
necessarily need
asking
to be
you
proactive?
to reach out to Donna to find out what your status is.
Then she said she was gonna send all the.
Yeah,
board
I'm just a
members.
Just go ahead and send it out. Okay.
Okay.
She'll send it out to all of us.
Thank you.
But it is the board member's responsibility to know where you stand for your seat. And I think November, the North Carolina School Board Association will have hundreds of choices of learning opportunities to get all of your hours complete in a matter of 1 or 2 days. So I would definitely encourage everyone, and it's a great conference. So I encourage everyone to consider that. We will not be voting on this today so that everyone has a chance to speak with Donna. Okay? I do believe we have some closed session decisions.
I move that we approve the personnel agenda addendum.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, 9-0. Board comments.
I wanted to make a comment. So I did hear one of our public speakers talk about bus drivers not having the ability to work a second job when they arrive at the school. I do want to challenge that because I specifically asked our staff during our most recent committee meeting if they also have that ability, and I was told yes. So if they could reach out to, I guess, their supervisor first to find out about that dual employment opportunity. And if there's any questions or concerns with the answers that you get, please feel free to reach out to me via email. Thank you.
And I would like to clarify that teaching assistants were not brought in at $20 an hour. That just happens to possibly be the range they would be in because they're working 2 jobs within Union County Public Schools. So if that's a pathway,
Yeah, that's their time
it's
and a half.
overtime, and we have lots of vacancies for bus drivers. And I personally want to go on record tonight to thank, I think only 3 or 4 TAs in the whole county took advantage of this opportunity. I think it's disheartening that 3 or 4 people trying to help us out in a tough spot would be would be spoken of so negatively. I just want to tell those 3 or 4 teaching assistants, thank you on behalf of the board. We so appreciate anyone in our school district that would go above and beyond to fill vacancies and to help us out and help get our kids to school and home from school. So thank you very much for anyone who's willing to do that, and especially our teaching assistants.
I agree with that. I also want to say thank you to all the bus drivers who worked and did what they were supposed to do and get our kids to school. For the parents who don't know this, we are facing a shortage of bus drivers across the state of North Carolina. So there's buses running double routes. We're doing everything we can possibly can to get kids to school on time. And we appreciate the bus drivers that are doing that every single day.
One more comment. Special thank you to Marlon Watson and to Mr. Strickland here for really getting creative on how we can overcome the deficit that we're in. And, trying to consolidate some routes, trying to really keep these buses moving as efficiently as you can. But we have had an enormous increase in the amount of ridership this year. We've had a lot of students come back to UCPS from charter schools. So so not only the driver shortage, but then you compound that with additional riders. And they're really doing a good job to get creative and trying to think of ways to overcome this. So thank you.
I agree. I think staff, Mark Strickland and Marlon Watson, have done a great job recruiting and encouraging people to help us out and fill these vacancies. So,
Thank you. I will go on record saying thank you to all of our UCPS employees, but I am also an advocate of paying our bus drivers more. Our public speaker, she did share many things, but she also talked about, and Dr. Barnes, you may be able to say more to whatever I'm saying. She did say paying bus drivers more based off experience. Some of our bus drivers have 22 years of experience, and they make, I'm going based off what she provided, $13.87. And we have bus drivers with less experience making more. So
Nice. Yeah.
I am an advocate of paying our bus drivers more.
I think that should go back to the Strategic Planning, Transportation, and Technology Committee for something to discuss.
And I would encourage all board members, we are in a current budget. This was not brought up during our last budget cycle. So I would just make a note to take that into consideration around March when we go into our next budget cycle, to see if we can work that request in and do a fair market analysis, as we always do through our Human Resources Department. They always look at the market and see what our positions should be paid. And I trust that they will do that again, and we will take this information into consideration and think about it in the next budget cycle.
We did 2 years ago, just to refresh everybody. The state of North Carolina gave raises to the bus drivers based upon the years of seniority. And then we gave local money on top of that. So 2 years ago, we put that in our budget. So that's just something to consider, to think about, and then go forward.
And after Union County Public Schools did that, then other counties came in behind us, and they decided to get more competitive. So we are where we are. I do appreciate the information we received tonight. We will vet that information, and we will work with Human Resources to determine, a fair market analysis. Are there any other board comments? Yes.
Well, just to end on a slightly different subject, amongst everything else going on in October is Dyslexia Awareness Month. Some of you may not be aware of the challenges of dyslexia. I have several members of my family that are challenged. The way they explained it to me is like somebody puts a sheet of paper in front of you and wants you to read it, and it's all Chinese symbols, and you don't read Chinese, and you struggle. But most overcome. And just to name a few that you may not realize, famous dyslexia challenged folks, Sir Richard Branson, the inventor, actor Tom Cruise, President Woodrow Wilson didn't learn to read till he was in high school because he had dyslexia, so difficulty. Former governor of New York and Vice President Nelson Rockefeller, Walt Disney, and even the Fonz, Henry Winkler. Statistics say that there between 15 to 20% of the population is challenged with dyslexia. And with 41,000 students here at UCPS, you can do the math, between 6 to 8,000 potentially, statistically, that could be working through this challenge. And I want to recognize Dr. Nolan, who's here with us tonight, head of our EC department. We're making great strides and doing great things to help those students that are challenged with dyslexia. I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention for this month. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, any announcements?
The Strategic Planning, Information Technology, and Transportation Committee will meet October 23rd. That's a Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. here at the PDC.
Okay, and board members, just keep an eye on your email messages for other committee meetings. I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you, board. Thank you, guests.